Hi, welcome. Today we're going to talk about why who you are is not what you do. This is a bonus video for the Energy Balancing with Faith students. Can you relate to this? Have you ever said something like this to yourself? I messed up, or I did something bad, therefore I'm a bad person, or I'm a messed up person. And maybe your mind goes further and says, bad people don't deserve to be loved and happy, or messed up people don't deserve to be loved and happy. Have you ever said, oh, I can't do it as well as others, or as well as so-and-so. Okay, therefore, I'm not worthy and valuable. And maybe our mind goes further and says, people who can't do things perfectly are not enough and not important, and we feel so bad and we throw ourselves out like trash. And then we reject ourselves and feels just so sad. And then we punish ourselves and hide from the world. Can you relate? Well, the reality is, yes, maybe we did mess up. Okay, and yeah, it feels bad. Okay, or we can't do something as well as others. Okay, it doesn't feel good. Right? That discomfort of regret and grief and failure is a natural consequence. Okay, we need to feel those feelings. It serves as a moral compass to remind us not to do that again or avoid doing those bad things as much as humanly possible in the future. Okay, not having skills to do something right now, currently, okay, isn't that bad. We can always learn by practicing to get better and more skilled, okay? If it's not important, then we don't have to learn it at all and somebody else can have that skill, okay? But the problem is that we turn on ourselves so quickly, right? We beat ourselves up and then we make up these negative stories and give negative meaning to the situation. All of the turquoise colored text on the screen is that. It's just stuff that we added onto the reality. The fact is, yes, we messed up, okay, or we can't do something as well. That's fine, that's fact. But then we add all of these extra things and we make ourselves very unhappy. And all of these things happen in milliseconds in our subconscious. Most people are not even aware of these things happening inside their minds. Many people haven't learned to discern and differentiate all these voices. All this additional negative self-talk is unnecessary and causes us to feel so bad. It slows our progression and limits our happiness. So why do we still do this? And how can we become more self-aware enough to change it? This is what this video is all about. When things happen, people might say to you, just do this. That doesn't really work, right? People say, be more positive. Just don't say that anymore. Or just be happy. When we tell ourselves to snap out of it, or when others tell us to just whatever, okay, just eat healthier or just exercise more, it isn't helpful. There's a little bit more to this. These statements aren't helpful because we haven't learned the skills yet to recognize and reprogram the subconscious. You must change on the subconscious level in order to change permanently. Our actions are driven by our emotions, and our emotions come from subconscious beliefs and thoughts. Here is a better self-talk alternative. How about saying something like this? Oh, I messed up, or I did something bad. Therefore, I need to change or correct something. I'm always learning and progressing. I can't do it as well as others. I don't need to compare myself with others. I only need to keep practicing patiently until I improve myself. I am making progress each day. I can do it. The statements I underlined are facts, but the rest of the self-talk are things that we can control. Isn't this a better alternative? Can we self-regulate like this? How does it feel if our children learn this skill too? How do we change our interpretations like this? How do we change the story that we're telling ourselves? Can we say, note to self, cheer up, me? This is a response of someone secure in themselves. Let's have courage to face our weaknesses and mistakes. The previous response is a response of a person who is insecure. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we reject ourselves and punish ourselves and feel hurt and then hide and feel just so badly? To change our subconscious, we need to understand why we do what we do as humans. There are many reasons why we do this to ourselves. Here are 5 common reasons I have discovered. Let's talk about ways we can resolve these things today. Number 1, you are not clear on who you are. You forget your divine identity. Number 2, you aren't clear on your life's ultimate purpose of divine progression. Number 3, you're allowing yourself to be influenced by negative forces. Number 4, you lack self-awareness and haven't fully learned to use your divine power. And number 5, you haven't learned the skills to change culture, traditions, and self-imposed limitations. We will take each one of these and resolve them all today in this video. But for example, number 1, if you are not clear on yourself, you just get default, don't you? You haven't yet decided that you are a wonderful, loved child of God. Since we haven't decided, then we let the world decide whether we're good enough. In your interactions, you will subconsciously be looking for hints of why you should be rejected. You allow the world to push your insecure buttons because they haven't been resolved. If you are clear on who you are, nothing anyone says can change what you believe about yourself. You become immune to people's opinions about you. Believing what you do is who you are is a very common thing that I get when I do energy balancing sessions on people. I have done this for over a decade. This issue isn't that difficult to resolve, actually. It just takes practice, effort, intention, and attention. As soon as possible, please resolve these things now. Otherwise, it will continue to mess our lives up unnecessarily. As I do energy balancing sessions with people, I notice that the root cause of most of these problems are all the same. It is the same for all the ages. For children, maybe they did something bad and they believe that they're so bad that they continue to behave badly and then getting stuck in that negative feedback loop. For teens, they feel self-rejection. They misunderstand parents' intentions. They reject love offered to them. They rebel and make self-destructive choices. For young adults, they feel withdrawn. They hide from society. They're socially uncomfortable. They distract themselves. And they are unambitious, they are unmotivated, and they don't take massive actions towards creating a beautiful future for themselves. And for the adults who believe that what they do is who they are, they feel overwhelmed and anxious and overworked, unfulfilled, insecure, confused, and then they start passing on the negative energies and patterns onto their children. Do these things resonate with you or someone you know? How can we change all this and create more positive results? Let's start by changing our story and perspectives. And in order to do that, we need to change our beliefs and thoughts. If we have these negative lenses, we misinterpret, misunderstand, and misjudge the world so quickly and so negatively. The beliefs and thoughts that need to be changed are in the cultures and tradition and in our fears and limitations. We have the power to change our traditions and culture to get rid of our fears and limitations. Today, let's clarify and put on lenses to see clearly. Number 1, be clear on who you are. You are a beloved child of God with great potential. Your divine identity never changes. Don't take my word for it. You can find out for yourself. Our heavenly parentage is our first and most profound identity. In a quiet place, pray and connect to God with all the energy of your soul until you know that this is true. Choose to believe that you belong to heavenly parents, so you are important. Choose to believe that you are innately good inside, so develop self-love, acceptance, and respect. Your inner light is pure intelligence. Please read these scriptures prayerfully and develop a testimony of these truths. The other thing that helps me is that I regularly ask myself, is what I am doing aligned to my divine identity as a child of God? So when we're being hard on ourselves or reducing ourselves, is that aligned to our divine identity? Your identity can never change. Have a look at the beautiful pictures on the screen. Go back to the time that you birth. You love your child unconditionally. The child does not need to earn your love or be worthy of it. You love your child because your child is yours. Likewise, you are a beloved child of heavenly parents who care for you and watch over you more than you realize. As children learn to walk, their parents hold their hands. Likewise, our heavenly parents are guiding us and helping us all the way through, whether we realize it or not. Number 2, you are here to progress. You are here to learn how to be powerful and positive by experiencing oneness. This life isn't about being as comfortable as possible or having as much fun as possible. It is about staying connected and doing what you are inspired to do. You will feel an immense degree of peace and light as you do so. Please wrestle with God, like many of the prophets, to know for yourself these truths that I'm sharing. Remember, you're not here to earn heaven. Yes, we must put forth much effort, but that effort is to help us progress, not to earn heaven with our own merits and works. Think about this. What did we do today to make the sun rise? How did we earn the air that we are breathing in? You are growing and changing into a better version of yourself through grace. Through grace or divine assistance, we are learning many things and becoming better. As parents, do you make your kids pay for every meal you provide? Do they pay you for every load of laundry you do for them? The bedtime stories, the hugs, and the hand holding are all free. All you want from your children is that they grow and become happy adults, hopefully better versions of you. Yes, as part of progression, you will have growing pains. You will have mistakes and struggles and failures and discomforts. As parents, many times we need to step back and let our kids figure things out on their own, right? And that's what's happening to us right now. Our Heavenly Parents know that we can figure it out. They're just giving us hints and guides. Our Heavenly Parents are confident in us. They know that we can figure things out eventually. They will help where they can, but they will let us do what we can do. Even in your weaknesses, mistakes, and failures, you are still a beloved child of God. When you know who you are and what you are meant to do here, then you allow yourself to be immune to what other people think. You will only answer to God. God can tell you how well you are doing, and you won't mind other people's judgments. Please pray and connect to God to detect your life's purpose and then fulfill it. Stay connected constantly to self-regulate and self-correct as you progress. Let's change our definition of mistakes and failures. Mistakes do not define you. On the screen you can see that fail is just our first attempt in learning. John Maxwell said, "A man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them." Wow, let's have courage to face our weaknesses and our mistakes. It is cowardice, isn't it, when we just hide and we whine about why we are stuck. It takes proactivity, power, courage, intelligence to move ourselves out of that dark space of passiveness. Another thing that helps me feel better is to make peace with our humanity. When I feel weak and I know I've messed up and I failed, it is helpful to think about the atonement of Jesus Christ. Utilizing the atonement of Jesus Christ helps me have infinite redos until I get it right. The atonement is about redemption, grace, and mercy. I learn forgiveness of myself and others. Learn to be more obedient to the divine laws, in other words, the commandments. I learn that we don't need to take on the divine role of judge or executor of punishment. That's God's job. Give it back to Him. It's about our direction and projection that counts. It's not a straight line up. We zigzag all the way up towards Christ. I remind myself that I need to be ready at all times to be taken home to the God that gave us life and light. As long as our direction and projection leads us to continual progression, we will be all right. All the progression isn't meant to be completed here on earth. Just keep trying and then try again. To help, use these essential oils: forgive, peace, and elevation. Smell it and say your affirmations. Adopt the new beliefs that you can be forgiven, that you can change, that you can have peace, that you can keep going, that mistakes are okay. Number 3, listen to the correct voices. There are actually 4 voices that we hear. We can hear God's voice or Satan's voice. You can tell that it's God's voice because it's short and it has direct instructions. It's comforting and calming. It's piercing to the heart with truth, hope, and understanding. You can go to Him for further instructions as you go. His voice helps you feel like you can change and renew yourself. When you hear Satan's voice, you feel doubtful and discouraged and dark. There's a sense of separation. It confuses and pushes and rushes and worries you. Make sure you pause and rebuke this voice. It tells you that since you messed up, you are now bad or not enough forever. The third voice is other people's voice and then your voice. When it's other people's voices, it may or may not be good advice. You are remembering people's opinions and ideas. You get to choose whether you want to listen to this voice or not. Maybe you hear your parents' voice of calm and wisdom. Maybe you hear voices of people who are in the media. Maybe those ideas are distracting. And then there's your voice. Your voice can reason and ask questions. You can be decisive and affirming to yourself. You have the freedom to choose, to change and create. When your voice becomes dominant, you will stop overthinking. You can say to yourself, no, I'm not listening to the world, and no, Satan, that's separating me and my friends. Nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do what God tells me to do. He's already told me this, and it's very clear and very simple. Allow your voice to be the dominant voice. That way you say, oh well, I messed up. I'll just keep trying again. If Satan says, well, you messed up forever, you say, no, I still have the atonement. I can try again. So learn how to recognize these voices. Number 4, develop self-awareness and learn to use your divine power. Because of your divine identity, you have the power to choose to change and create. You have this agency. So choose, change, and create well. Choose to have self-discipline and self-mastery. The emotions don't have to control you. You can change the emotions so that you can be driven to taking positive actions. You can design your abundant, joyful life. Why should you be held back just because you did something wrong? Why should you self-sabotage? Live intentionally and purposefully without blaming and complaining. With your power, you can filter negative people, culture, traditions, patterns, and behaviors out. So number 4 is basically be self-aware and know that you have power. I'm going to plug this in because it's very important so that we can be clear on our purpose and what we should be choosing. We should be choosing things that matter in the eternities. It stops us from being myopic. When we have an eternal perspective, we make better choices. I feel like this question helps us a great deal. Ask yourself what you can take with you after death. You can take your relationship connections, your character, and your knowledge. So in your choices, choose to make connections with your parents and children and spouse and siblings and friends. Those things will bring you joy. Choose things that will build your character. Choose to be kind, patient, loving, passionate, loyal, honest, positive, calm, confident, caring, responsible, and have integrity. When you choose those things, if other people tell you otherwise, it won't matter because you believe that you are these things. Whatever people say, it doesn't stick. Choose to develop knowledge and focus on these things. Create, organize, connect, love, lead. When we know what is most important and when we have clear purposes, it's easier for us to keep trying and changing. And then we disconnect who we are from what we do. And the 5th thing is we learn the skills to change culture, traditions, and self-imposed limitations. Learn to question your subconscious and your culture. Change your thoughts and beliefs so that you can change your feelings and actions, which will create better results. Question your culture and traditions. If it doesn't lead to unity, respect, individual freedom, and love, then it's out. If it doesn't lead to those things that matter most that you can take with you into the eternities, then it's out. Get rid of traditions of scaring yourself or shaming or guilting or self-reduction or conditional love or ignoring the heart compass. Use your head, that inspiration, that intuition. No, that's not a thing, right? Or suppressing emotions. No, don't feel feels, okay? Or that toxic masculinity. Big boys don't cry. Get rid of the shame of outshining culture. Some people are so worried about doing well because it outshines people and people are not progressing as much as they should. Before you were born to the earthly family you are in, you are a part of God's family. Get rid of those old tradition of motivating people through fear and shame. Many of the cultures and traditions are just human inventions. If it doesn't align to God's teachings and gospel principles, then throw them out. It's hurting you and your loved ones. And remember, you are not your job, employment, education, age, economic status, or your income or your race. Your worth and value is beyond how you earn a living, how popular you are, or how much respect people give you according to the measures of the world. When your fundamental human needs are met, you don't need any of these secondary labels to help you feel important. You are already important. When we choose to change culture, we actually change the way we speak as well. So be mindful of your words. Some things you say actually box you in, and other things help you be outside of the box, where you are free. On the left hand are ways that people typically identify themselves. Why don't we just talk about what we do? So instead of saying, I'm a doctor, we can say, I work as a doctor. Or I'm the fun one. Why don't we say, I love having fun and many other things, because sometimes you're not fun and that's okay. You don't have to feel bad about yourself, right? Or I identify as blah, 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 or why don't we just say, I'm a child of God, right? We don't have to identify and then box ourselves in to certain things and then we can't change. When we identify ourselves as these other secondary things, we have to keep up that identity. We need to keep proving it and we need to support it and we need to defend it all the time. So why don't we just say, I'm a child of God? Some people say, I'm a type A personality. Why don't we just say, I like being assertive at times? Or we might put other people in boxes and say, oh, he is difficult. Instead, we can say, he's being difficult currently, because then it doesn't box people in and it gives people an opportunity to change. I am an introvert. Instead, why don't we say, I don't feel comfortable public speaking, all right? Because there's times that you do feel comfortable speaking in public, right? It's just freeing. It takes the limitations away. Here is what I see as the ultimate success. When we can say and believe that we are beloved children of God. We can say, I am a beloved child of God, and we really believe it. My life's ultimate purpose is divine progression. I know it. I only listen to God's voice and my own. I know it. I am self-aware and I know how to use my divine power. And you know what? I have the skills to question and change culture and traditions and self-imposed limitations. Those are fantastic skills to have. That way we won't feel so bad about ourselves, hide or punish ourselves anymore. Okay? We're secure and confident people. If you are interested in these things, please consider taking the Energy Balancing with Faith course. It'll help you be more self-aware and awaken. It'll help you develop insight and discernment. It can help you have more self-love and self-acceptance. Helps you be more powerful at manifesting and creating. It allows you to be more prayerful and still. It helps you love others more and learn how to connect to God more. And in the end, you want to be a more enlightened person. You're a person that can honor your life's calling. Here are the details of the Energy Balancing with Faith course. It's a 7-week self-guided course that you can take online. It helps you tap into your subconscious and resolve the unsupportive patterns and programming. It helps you be more emotionally and spiritually mature. And you can be part of the Earth Angel community where we have live chats every week. So here's the website, jadebolden.com/enroll. Alternatively, you can buy the Energy Balancing with Faith book on my website or on Amazon or Lulu and read through this and learn it yourself. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and follow me on social media, and comment below. Please share this video with your friends. Thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you soon.